Alright everyone, how you doing? It's time for my Game Week 3 predictions for the Premier League this weekend. And if you haven't already seen my video on Game Week 2, go and watch that right there. And I've also created a point system to increase the stakes, where if I get less than 10 points, I have to serve a punishment chosen by you in the comments down below. So wait until the end of the video to see if that is the case. But until then, let's look at my predictions for Game Week 3. Kicking things off at the Emirates with Arsenal versus Brighton. Now this one I thought was quite hard to predict, considering Arsenal have had a very good start to the season, and so have Brighton. Arsenal, 2-0 wins, the one most notably away at Villa Park, 2-0, getting the job done in the end. Goals from Trossard and Thomas Partey. You know, they just did it, they turned up, they took the win, they went home. And same with Brighton, to be honest, 3-0 win away at Goodison Park, and then a very, very late 2-1 win at home to Man United, which puts them second in the league. Very, very good from Brighton. Their new young German manager is obviously doing a good job. But will they be able to do it at the Emirates against Arsenal, who are really challenging for the title for the third season in a row? Unfortunately for them, I don't think they will. I think Brighton will go to the Emirates. They may even score first. But overall, I think Arsenal will win 2-1. And next up, you've got Nottingham Forest versus Wolves. Nottingham Forest, I put them to go down in my initial Premier League predictions. Again, you can watch right here. But actually, they haven't had a bad start to the season. A 1-0 draw at home to Bournemouth, and actually a 1-0 win through Morgan Gibbs White away at newly promoted Southampton. You know, Forest, not setting the world alight, but actually not too bad start to the season. As for Wolves, they've had a very tough start playing Arsenal and Chelsea, losing 2-0 at the Emirates and then 6-2 at home to Chelsea. Absolute masterclass from Noni Madueke and Cole Palmer. But overall, Wolves are in a very bad place at the moment. And to be honest, going into this game, they are desperate for even a point. And at the City Ground, that is not always easy. Forest make that a fortress. That is where they get most of, if not all, their points in the league season. And because of that, I'm going to say Nottingham Forest 2, Wolves 0. Another loss under Gary O'Neill going into the international break. So that was the first Midlands derby, but now it's time for the second. Leicester versus Aston Villa. Two clubs in a similar situation in the fact that they both lost last week. And actually, both conceded 2 goals. Aston Villa at home to Arsenal lost 2-0, and Leicester lost away at Fulham 2-1. They're both looking for a win. They've both got points on the board. Leicester with 1, Aston Villa with 3 after taking 3 away at West Ham on the opening day of the season. Trust me, I know a lot about that, and I know a lot about John Duran scoring pretty late on. But who will win this one at the King Power Stadium? Leicester not expected to set the world alight when they came up. Really just expected their main goal to be staying up in this league. And I think they might. But in this game, I think they're going to lose. Leicester 1, Aston Villa 3. And moving on to another newly promoted team, Ipswich. Ipswich versus Fulham. So this one, again, I thought was a pretty hard one to call. No disrespect to Fulham, you know, going away to a newly promoted side, they would probably expect to win. But Ipswich need points. They've had a very, very hard start to the season. At home to Liverpool, lost 2-0. Away at Man City, took the lead, but lost 4-1 in the end. And, you know, they're going to need this win sooner rather than later. Otherwise, they'll really be kicked out of sight and they won't really know what they're doing a couple of games down the line. And I think they're capable of winning. So that is why I'm saying Ipswich 2, Fulham 1. Then all the way up to Merseyside, you've got Everton versus Bournemouth. Everton, a real struggling club at the minute. They beat Doncaster the other day in the Carabao Cup, but really, in the league, they have been abysmal. 3-0 at home to Brighton, 4-0 away at Spurs. You know, they are not playing well at all. They haven't even scored a Premier League goal yet. So I'm not really sure what to expect from Everton. And playing against a Bournemouth side who nearly nicked it the other day against Newcastle, I'm not really sure how they're going to get this over the line. And because of that, I'm going to say Everton 1, Bournemouth 3. They get their first goal of the season, but not necessarily their first point. Into the international break, really struggling. 3-1 loss. But coming back down south, you've got Brentford versus Southampton. Played at the GTEC Stadium, and once again, 2 clubs who lost last week. Brentford away at Anfield, and Southampton at home to Nottingham Forest. Could Southampton be pulled into this relegation battle very early after just coming up from the Championship and really just hoping to stay up? Potentially not. They're looking for their first point of the season, and I think they're going to get it away at Brentford, 2-2. Pretty good game. Both teams won't want to lose after losing last week, and it'll end a draw. Brentford 2, Southampton 2. But now it's time to talk about my team, West Ham. West Ham versus Man City. I will be going, obviously, expect a Matchday vlog out probably on Sunday by the time it's all done. But West Ham versus City. Now, we just beat Bournemouth 1-0 in the Carabao Cup. Not a great performance whatsoever at home, but got there in the end, got the job done, and beat Palace the other weekend as well. So we are on a bit of a roll at the minute. And City as well, obviously being on a roll, 2 wins from 2, top of the league. It's going to be a good game. 5:30 kickoff on a Saturday. I think West Ham could do well. And because of that, I'm trying not to be biased, but I'm going to say West Ham 1, Man City 1. Very tight game, but a good draw for the Hammers going into the international break on 4 points. But moving into Sunday and moving all the way up north, St James's Park, Newcastle versus Tottenham. Last couple of seasons, Tottenham have been absolutely battered at St James's Park. In the 22-23 season, it was Newcastle 6, Spurs 1, 5-0 down after 20 minutes. And last season, it was Newcastle 4, Spurs 0. So Spurs don't have a very good recent record at that ground, and I don't think they'll get battered this time, but I can't see them winning. I'm going to say Newcastle 2, Spurs 0. And going off the last couple of games that have been played, yes, Spurs won 4-0 the other day at home to a struggling Everton side, and Newcastle only got a 1-1 draw away at Bournemouth, and they could have lost in the 93rd minute as well. So the form would probably say to back Spurs, but I'm going to back Newcastle. Yeah, 2-0 Newcastle. Definitely a goal from Alexander Isak. Always scores against him. And coming down to Stamford Bridge, you've got Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, 2 losses from 2. 2-1 away at Brentford and 2-0 at home to West Ham. Goals coming from Thomas Souček and Jared Bowen. But Palace really need to start sorting themselves out. Otherwise, they're going to start going into a bit of trouble for a team who are apparently going to be qualifying for Europe this season. Not sure about that, Palace fans. But so far, it definitely hasn't shown it. Chelsea, on the other hand, they've taken a win and a loss at home to the champions Man City, and a 6-2 win away at Wolves is very impressive. And to be honest, going into this game, they will probably be seen as the favourites, especially being at Stamford Bridge. So because of that, I think Palace will score, but they're going to lose 3-1. And our final game on Super Sunday, last but certainly not least, Man United versus Liverpool. What a game this is always hyped up to be. Man United losing away at Brighton last week in the 95th minute through João Pedro. Liverpool winning 2 games out of 2, both 2-0. They haven't even conceded in the league yet. You know, Liverpool are going to go into this game and feel as though they have all the rights to go to Old Trafford and take 3 points. But Man United definitely won't want to lose, and especially won't want to lose to Liverpool. And because of that, I'm going to say Man United 2, Liverpool 2. A very good game on Super Sunday, but Liverpool can't win at Old Trafford as Man United go into the international break on 6 points. So those were all my predictions in Game Week 3 across the Premier League. The scores are on the screen right now. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, how you would have predicted these games, if you predicted them the same, if you would have predicted them differently. Let me know down in the comments below. But looking back to my predictions for Game Week 2, here is how I scored. 3 points for a correct score. Man City 4, Ipswich 1, Brighton 2, Man United 1 were the 2 games that I got completely right, meaning I am already on 6 points. And then a point per correct result. Bournemouth 2, Newcastle 2. I said it would be a draw, but it actually ended 1-0 in the end. Bournemouth nearly nicking it in the 93rd minute. Crystal Palace 1, West Ham 2. It actually was 2-0. West Ham keeping a clean sheet. Fulham 3, Leicester 1. I was very, very close on this one, but it actually was Fulham 2, Leicester 1. Tottenham 2, Everton 0. Actually was Tottenham 4, Everton 0. I was right about Everton not scoring. And finally, Liverpool 3, Brentford 0. It actually was Liverpool 2, Brentford 0. Knew Liverpool would win, but 1 goal out. So that extra 5 points puts me on 11 points in total, so I avoid the punishment for this week. Remember, it's below 10 points, so I've got 11 now. I'm safe. But what were the 3 games that I got completely wrong? And those were Wolves 1, Chelsea 1. What was I thinking there? Wolves 2, Chelsea 6 was actually the final score. Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 2. Honestly, this one probably could have been 2-2 if Ollie Watkins put that chance away, but he didn't, and it ended Aston Villa 0, Arsenal 2. And the final game was Southampton 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Other way around. Southampton 0, Nottingham Forest 1. So that is the end of the video. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. And once again, let me know what you think your predictions are down in the comments below. We'll see who's right, and until next time, come on you Irons. Let's hope we can get a draw or even a win against Man City. Come on you Irons.